And then the last thing with the SLMPD, I've informed you that the JPA, which is the document governing the SLMPD, states that the members of the coordinating committee shall be the mayors of each city, and the members of the operating committee shall be the city administrator or manager, whatever applies to that member city. Greenwood does not have a city administrator, and Greenwood does have a staff member who does work remotely on their behalf and has attended different things remotely via video on behalf of Greenwood. We've been discussing this for over a year. As you know, we hired an independent attorney to render an opinion on this issue. The attorney stated it's basically improper for the administrator and the mayor to be the same person, because one is an elected official and one is and not an elected official, and yet they're both acting in basically a dual capacity. One board has the ability to hire, fire, and set the pay increases and bonuses of the chief, but the other board has meetings on the day-to-day operations of the police department, and that can make it very difficult for the chief and the other administrators when someone on that committee is also has the ability to fire the chief. Long story short, the other mayors voted 3-1 that we do not want the mayor of Greenwood. It has nothing to do with the individual currently in that seat to continue attending the operating committee meetings. And Greenwood has disputed this very vehemently. And Greenwood stated at our last coordinating meeting that they have considered looking at Deep Haven Police Department as an alternative. And the board is at an impasse. So we are possibly exploring some mediation options, as well as going to run this past the appropriate League of Minnesota Cities representative. So.
Will that cost us money in like attorney fees?
We're only exploring things at this point. That is the question being posed to the league at the moment. The mediation at the moment, it is the 3 cities' position that Greenwood has, if they pursue and challenge this vote, they are the aggrieved party. The board has spoken, and the aggrieved party pays for mediation. So Greenwood would pay to mediate. Greenwood denies that and says the 3 of us are the aggrieved party because basically we're not doing what they want. So
it'll come back to us for like discussion before you make a decision
absolutely.
On whether or not we're going to pay for litigation.
Absolutely. At this point, it's just been discussions, and I think I'm painting a pretty accurate picture. Mr. Nowinski was there as well, and it's a pretty hot topic.
Has it caused problems before? Like, has he done something that's untoward, illegal, unethical? Like, what? I mean, if it's been operating this way forever, what changed that we decided that all of a sudden it's not copacetic?
I
think
those are difficult questions.
I don't think that that it has been operating that way forever, but it has been operating that way for some time. It's been operating somewhat similarly on the fire side, and at one point, historically, had become an issue and was not, I guess I mean, apparently nothing changed because that's the situation that they're still in. I think that there are some questions that have just been raised as the department's gone through some processes about the appropriateness of that arrangement. There is a term in state statute, what am I? Incompatible offices. And we might be kind of dealing with that in this situation. So I think ultimately it's trying to figure out how do we come to some sort of term or agreement. Greenwood's interest is certainly trying to represent its residents and its interests through the process in the same way that the other cities get to represent their residents and interests in the processes. Hopefully, working with the league, I had reached out to the state office of collaboration and dispute resolution, and they referred me to the League of Minnesota Cities, who also has dispute resolution. So I'm going to meet with them later this week to talk through this issue a little bit and see if there's a fit and see if we can't maybe try to come to some amicable conclusion here. But
Causing us harm?
I think some of the things that have come up have been around good governance and some confusion about is the police chief getting direction from the quote-unquote administrator or from a board member? And as administrators, we don't have any direction over the chief. We are merely the chief's peers. We are there to advise and to, provide guidance and support, but we're not the chief's boss. So it's a little bit of an awkward situation, and it's, has it been a big problem? Maybe not, but could it be a problem in the future? There is that concern that all of the cities have now raised, so.
Could one simple solution be that Greenwood gets a resident volunteer to serve in that capacity?
That was proposed by one of the member cities, and that was immediately rejected by Greenwood. It was also proposed, we've made different proposals. The different cities proposed having a council member in that role. That was rejected by Greenwood. Proposed that Greenwood could meet anytime they want, which we all can, with the chief and discuss things at length. That was rejected by Greenwood. So, I think this member cities have tried to make this work, and we're taking the next step, which is not a cost to us at this point. And if it can't be resolved and there would be a cost proposed, of course, that would come to the council.
It seems similar though, like having you being the mayor, but also being on the police board. You're not acting as a mayor of Shorewood, you are acting as the board member. You can separate those things clearly. So, that's why I guess we'll get more information on this, because it doesn't make sense to me that person can't operate clearly in different roles and capacities. Like when I'm wearing this hat, I do this. When I'm wearing this hat, I do this. And I have to represent this equity when I'm acting as a board member and this equity when I'm acting as an administrator. So, that's, I guess, maybe LMC will explain that to us better, but it doesn't seem strange to me, especially for a city of so few people.
And I think that's their argument, that they're so small and they don't have all of those resources. But I think the potential conflict comes in when there's someone with a position of authority as a board member who is also functioning in an administrative capacity, and that line, there's not a clear line, because you're always an elected official, right? So I think that's where the concern is coming from, and something we're going to have to try to work out. So.
Any other questions about that topic? Yeah. It's, as I said, we did hire an independent attorney who rendered an opinion that we are following through with, so.